today we mainly gonna cover operators in Python, and this is one of the most important class because whatever things that you would be reading in this one, that would be carried forward to other lectures also, right? And I think on Friday you were asking some questions on arithmetic operators, arithmetic operations, right? So hopefully we would be able to answer those questions in a concrete way in this lecture. So what is basically an operator? So in Python, and this definition is not only applicable for Python, but rest all other programming language also have these definitions. A Python, sorry, operator are the special symbols in Python that carry arithmetic or logical computations. Okay, so any kind of computation in Python or any other language, we can broadly classify into two categories. One is arithmetic operation, the other is logical computations. Okay, and the special symbol that instruct your computer, that instruct your system to perform those computations are nothing but operator. Okay, the value that operator operates on is called operand, right? So this will get clear with this example. Let's say that I am having this expression, so this is called expression, right? This is called arithmetic expression. So here if you'll see, there are two components in this expression. One is 2 and 3, which is called operands, and this plus symbol you are seeing, this is called operator. So this plus operator, it is saying your control, it is saying your Python that you have to perform addition operation between these two operand. Okay, so this 2 is operand, 3 is operand, but you see the sign here, this is called operator. And this entire expression is called arithmetic expression because it will do some arithmetic operation, right? Addition is an arithmetic operation, right? So this is the theoretical definitions of operator and operands and operations. Now let's see what are the different operator we have in Python. Okay, so again in Python we can classify operator into 4 categories broadly, and the most important and the most frequently used kind of operator called arithmetic operator. Okay, and what are the different operators that fall under this category is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, right? You can see in this diagram, right? So this plus symbol is nothing but it's an addition operator. How do we use this in our program? Let's say that I have written a line like x plus 5 plus 2, where x is my one variable, y is another variable, and I'm adding a constant 2 into it, right? So this is an arithmetic operation that will do some addition, right? Similarly, we can do subtraction also, right? So which is represented by this minus symbol. We can do multiplication of two data type. Primarily, those should be numerical one, right? So here, if I write x asterisk y, so this asterisk is nothing but it's a representation of multiplication operation. Okay, if you want to divide two operand, you just need to use this symbol. This is called backslash. Okay, and this will do the division for you. There's another operator called modulo operator, which gives the remainder. So whenever we divide a number by another number, there are two things we can get from that division, right? One is quotient, the other is remainder. So this modulo operator is nothing but it will give you a remainder. For example, if you do 5 modulo 2, right? So it will give remainder as 1, because if you divide 5 by 2, the remainder would be 1, right? Whereas if you do this operation backslash, that means what? You are trying to get question part out of that division, right? So the answer will be 2.5. If we'll divide 5 by 2, the answer would be 2.5 by using this operator. Then there's another operator called floor division operator. Okay, so what does that mean? Floor division operator is nothing but it will give you the integer part of your quotient. For example, again, let's take the same example. If I divide 5 by 2 by using this operator, this is called floor division operator, the output will be 2, right? Whereas if I do this by this operator, it will be 2.5. So what this operator is doing, it is taking the integer part of your division, right? It will truncate the 0.5 part, it will take only 2. it will take the floor value of your quotient, right? And the last in arithmetic operation is, this is called exponentiation operator. This double asterisk is nothing but exponentiation operator. So if you do like 2 double asterisk 3, that is 2 to the power 3, which will give you an output of 8, right? Now let us see how these operators plays in Python. So right, for given example, I'm taking a variable x and I'm assigning a value 15 to it. I'm taking another value y and I'm assigning value 4 to it. Okay. First of all, let's try to perform addition operation. So this is the string part, right? This is the string part. In the previous class, we have seen how to concatenate the expression result with string. So we're going to use that format only. So if I do x plus y, right, this is addition operator, the output would be 19. You'll see that x plus y equal to 19. Similarly, for subtraction also, it goes the same way. X minus y, this is subtraction operator. It will give me 11, right? 15 minus 4 is 11. And then this multiplication operator, so 15 into 4, that makes 60. So here you will see that 60. Okay. Similarly, if I do a division operator, right? So 15 divided by 4, that will give me 3.75, right? So you see here decimal part is also included because we are using a division operator. Whereas if you'll use floor operator for the same with the same operand, I'll get 3. This 0.75 will get knocked off because it will take only the integer part of it, right? The next thing comes is your exponentiation operator. So here if we'll write 15 asterisk asterisk 4, that means 15 to the power 4, right? So 15 to the power 4 is what? 50625, right? So if you are comfortable with all these operators, you can design your own calculator also. Is this part clear? Is arithmetic operator clear? Can somebody give me a heads up? Is this part fine? Then we can go ahead and check the other operator also. Can somebody please unmute and tell that?
Once floor division. I missed that.
Yeah, floor division, right? So floor division is nothing but it will give you the integer part of your quotient, right? So whenever you do divisions, there are two parts, right? One is the quotient, the other is remainder. So if I divide this 15 by 4, right? Let's say let's do this division operator. If I divide this 15 by 4, it will give me 3.75, right? This is correct. Whereas if I do this floor division, I'll get only 3. So it will take only integer part of your quotient. Is it making sense?
Is it division operator?
Sorry.
Is it division operator?
This is division operator. This is division operator. This single backslash is division operator. But if you do double backslash, it is called floor division operator.
Okay, floor. Okay. It extracts only the quotient.
Yes, it
Okay.
gives the only integer part of your quotient.
Okay.
So right now we have seen the floor division operator. There is another thing called ceiling division operator. So that what that will do is, like, instead of 3.75, it will give you output as 4. It will round off to the next integer and it will give you a 4. But for most practical purpose,
this is supposed to give only 3, right?
this is supposed to give only 3. See, I did not run that cell, that's why it was showing 3.75. Is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. So now let's see some real case scenario where we can use this arithmetic operators. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, like, I'm gonna take some input from my user, and I'll tell whether that input is odd or even. Okay. So in the recall the previous class, we introduced ourselves with a keyword called int that takes input from the user, right? So what this particular line will do, it will take input from your user and it will convert in integer form. Why we are writing this int? Because by default, whatever user will give input, it will be taken as a string. So we have to do here explicit typecasting. This is an example of explicit typecasting, right? And we're gonna check if it is divisible by 2. This is called modulo operator, right? Which gives a remainder. So if any division is giving a remainder as 0, that means what? That divisor is perfectly divisible by your dividend. Sorry, the dividend is perfectly divisible by divisor, right? That means what? It is an even number. Otherwise, it is an odd number. So if we'll run this one, first of all, it's going to ask an integer from user. Let's say I'm giving it a 50. You can give whatever you want. And it says that 50 is even. Why? Because this if statement got true, we have executed this particular line, right? Why? Because this 50 is perfectly divisible by 2. The remainder would be 0. That's why this line got executed and we got this output 50 is even, right? So today, along with the concept part, along with implementation part, we're gonna see some basic toy program also, which may not be very much useful in practical scenario by its own, but these are the elementary blocks for writing a complex program, right? Let's say that you are trying to build some sophisticated system that will take one set of output when your input is even and take whole lot other set of input when the your input is odd, right? So in that kind of program, this small elementary block can be very useful. Okay, the other is called comparison operator. Guys, if you don't feel that you're understand, I mean, if you're missing something, then please stop me and ask question right away.
It's very clear, Ashutosh, you are covering everything.
Sorry, Anas, I think you were breaking.
Yeah, it's clear, no problem.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I mean, just wanted to give you a heads up. If anything you feel like you are missing something, please don't wait for like for a moment. You can just interrupt me and ask a question because everything is connected. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So next is comparison operator. So we have seen how to perform arithmetic operation. Now we'll see comparison operator. So comparison operator are used to compare values, right? For when I say compare value, basically what I mean is like whether 5 is greater than 3 or not, 3 is greater than 2 or not, or is 1 and 1.0 same. So those kind of comparison, if you want to do, then definitely you need to use this comparator operator, right? And always remember one thing: the output of comparison operator will be always a Boolean value, whether it's a true or false. Okay. So for example, if you do, let's say that you do something like 3 greater than 5, what do you think? What would be the output? Come on, quick. This is very simple.
False.
Yes, that's what the system will give you. It will either give you true or false, nothing else, right? If I do something like this, what would be the output? Here it means
True.
that, yeah,
True.
here it, correct. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Here it means that your 5 is greater than equal to 5, right? So which is a true case, 5 is equal to 5. So this is called greater than operator. This sign is greater than operator. This sign is a smaller than operator. If you want to check if the value is equal to one specific value, then this is called equality operator, right? So initially in the previous class we have seen that we were getting confused this with assignment operator. Please make sure that assignment operator and equality operator are not same. Assignment operator is single equal to, right? If I do x is equals to 5, I am doing an assignment operator, right? I'm saying that x will hold a value 5. This is called assignment operation. Whereas if I do double equal to, that means I'm checking whether 5 is equal to 5 or not. Similarly, we have this exclamation equal to, that means not equal to. So here if I do 5 not equal to 8, it should give me output true, right? Because 5 is not equal to 8, right? This is greater than equal to symbol, and this is smaller than equal to operator. These are the main comparison operator we are having. Okay, now let's see how these gets connected in Python. Again, I'm taking a two variable x and y. I'm assigning 10 to x, I'm assigning 12 to y, right? And I'm checking whether this x is greater than y or not, right? So what I'll do is like x greater than y. What do you think? What would be the output of this if I'll execute this line then? Come on, quick. This is very easy. What would be the output of this line?
False.
Yes, absolutely, you are correct. Yeah. So this is false, right? So come on, I mean, say confidently, you are absolutely correct, right? Here, if I do x minus y, it should be true because 10 is not equal to 12. So it's true, right? I'm checking whether x is equal to x or not. So obviously it's true because 10 is equal to 10. You'll see that. Sorry. Here I'm doing x is equals to, I'm checking x is equals to y or not. So 10 is not equal to 12. So it is false.
False.
Right? So you understood like how we are making the use of this comparison operator, right? It is basically used to compare the values. Okay. Now the way we did in case of arithmetic operator, let's try to do the same thing with comparison operator also. Let's take some real life program and understand how this comparison operator works. The program is like it should take input from user and it tells whether that number is positive or negative. Okay, this is the problem statement. Now for that, first of all, what we need to have this input statement, right? Because this input statement will take input from user, and now we are typecasting this input from user as float. Why? Because we already know that whatever user will give input to computer, it will by default in form of string. We need to do typecasting. So here we are doing again explicit typecasting by writing float in front of it. So which is basically converting the input from a user as floating value. So this num is a variable which will hold a float value. Okay. Then again we are using an if else conditions. I know that we haven't covered if else, but this is very elementary. We can understand or at least get the first flavor of if else here, and later we can have a dedicated session on that. But for time being, I think it is easy to make sense, right? So I'm getting my input from user, I'm storing it into num, and then I'm checking if that number, if that input is greater than 0 or not, right? If it is greater than 0, then I'm printing print number, I mean positive number, right? And the moment this expression is true, it will not check the subsequent statement. It will not even check, it will not bother to check whether if else statement is correct or not, whether its else statement is correct or not. It will go to this if else only if this if condition gets false. Okay. And it will go to this else statement only if these two statements are false. You understand how the control flows? For example, if I run this program and if the user gives input as 10, right? So it takes 10 as the variable num. It is checking whether this 10 is greater than 0 or not. Yes, it is greater than 0. The output of this expression is what? True. So immediately it prints this particular line, and it will not bother to go to this part also, because he has got his first true in this line itself. It will implement the if block, and it will not go to the other part of the code. Now let's say if I'm giving my input as 0, right? It is printing print 0. Now how the control is flowing? First of all, it will check if the number 0 is greater than 0 or not. Obviously not. 0 is not greater than 0. 0 is equal to 0, right? So this statement got false. Now it will go to this particular statement, and it will check if 0 is equal to 0 or not. Yeah, this is true, right? 0 is equal to 0. So it will print this particular line, print 0. Now let's take the third case. If I'm giving you a -1, right? So it is saying that negative number. Now how the control is flowing? First of all, it checks if -1 is greater than 0. No, -1 is not greater than 0. It will not execute this if block. It will go to this if else block. It will check if -1 is equal to 0. No, -1 is not equal to 0. It will not execute this line. Now this will go to final block, right? And whatever final block says, it will implement, right? If this gets false, if this gets false, ultimately this block will get executed. Is this part clear?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Now coming to the third kind of operator, which is logical operator. Okay. So logical operator will also give you output as true or false. Okay. And basically in Python or any other form of programming language, we are mainly having three kind of logical operator. One is called AND operator, the other is called OR operator, and the third one is called NOT operator. Okay. So what happens in this AND operator is, so if suppose you're having, let's say, two condition, right? Let's say that I'm giving a hypothetical situations. If you want to decide whether whether you should eat ice cream today or not, okay, and your decision to eat ice cream depends upon two factors, depends upon two conditions. First, you want to check whether the day is sunny or not, right? Because the joy of eating ice cream is only when it's sunny, right? When it is hot. So first of all, you'll check whether the day is sunny or not. This is the first condition. The second condition is whether you have got money in your pocket, right? So if both this condition is true, in that case only you will be able to eat ice cream, right? So here what we are doing is we are using an AND operator. First of all, we are checking whether the day is sunny or not. If it is true, and if I have got money in my pocket, if both the output is true, then only I'm gonna eat ice cream, right? Do you understand how we are making the use of this AND operator? If the output of both the condition is true, then only it will give output as true, otherwise it will give output as false. Okay. Now let's modify this scenario, right? Now you are like a very adamant child. Okay. No matter what the situation is, you want to eat ice cream. Okay. The only condition is that you should have money in your pocket. So it doesn't matter whether the weather is sunny or not. You will eat chocolate if you are having money money in your pocket. So here we are applying an OR operator. Okay. So if the weather is sunny, we are representing the scenario as 1. If the weather is not sunny, we are representing this scenario by 0. So it doesn't matter whether it's a sunny or not sunny. It doesn't matter whether the output of that condition is 1 or 0. You will eat ice cream if you have money in your pocket. Okay. So this is OR operator, right? The third one is NOT operator. Here NOT operator means simply negation, right? So for example, if somebody says that you are a bad child, you'll immediately say, no, I'm a good child, right? So what you are doing, you are applying a negation operator there. You are reversing the person statement. So similarly, NOT operator does the same. We know that 1 is positive number, right? If I do if 3, let's say that I'm doing 3 is greater than 2, right? This is correct. We know that 3 is greater than 2, so obviously this particular line will get printed. 3 is, this is correct, right? But the moment I write not here, it will do the negation operation. So it will say no, 3 is not greater than 2, and ultimately you'll see that this line will not get printed. It will not print anything, right? Because now what is saying that no, 3 is not greater than 2, so obviously this if statement becomes false. The moment it becomes false, whatever block is there in that if block, it will not get printed, it will not get executed. Understood? Okay, now let's try to do it in Pythonic way. I'm having a variable x and I'm assigning true to it. I'm having a variable y, I'm assigning false to it, right? And I'm seeing x and y, all right? So the AND operator will give you true only when both the variable will have output as true, otherwise it will give you false. So true and false will give you output as false. X or y, or in another way, true or false, it will give you true. If there's a 1 true, it will give the output as true. Not x, I mean not true, is equivalent to false. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, now let's see how can we use this logical operator in our program, right? So here the use case is like, I'll give you 3 number. Okay, I'll give you a random 3 integer number, and if I'll ask you whether all the numbers are I mean whether all the numbers are boolean, or at least there is one number is boolean. Okay, so when I say boolean, what does it mean? That it will have either 0 or 1. Okay, so here what I'm doing is, if a and b and c, if this statements, if this expression is true, that means what? All the numbers are boolean, right? Otherwise at least one number is boolean, and it is false. Okay, so here if you'll see here, what it will happen, 10 and 12 and 0. So this 0 is equivalent to what? This 0 is equivalent to false. What did we learn in the previous class? True is equivalent to 1, 0 is equivalent to false, right? Now just add one more layer of information on top of it, right? Anything which is positive and it is greater than equal to 1, it is true, right? So here 10 is equivalent to true, 12 is equivalent to true, right? So here what will happen? True and false means what? It is equivalent to false, because One single false will make your entire AND logic as false. So the output of this expression will be false. The moment it is false, it will not implement this particular block, right? It will go to this particular block, and regardless of any logic, it will print this block because this block is already false now. So it is printing at least one number has Boolean value as false. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The next operator is the bitwise operator, and this bitwise operator is something which we use mainly for binary operand. Okay, so when I say binary operator, it basically means the sequence of zeros and one. Fine. So let's say let's take an example here. I am having a variable a, and that is equal to 10. B is having equal to 4. And if what and what I'm doing a and b. So please don't get confused this and with this and, right? These two and are different. This is the logical AND operator, and this is called bitwise operator, bitwise AND operator, right? So what happens if I do a and b here? First of all, you have to take a binary value of this one. The binary value of 10 is what? The binary value of 10 is 1010. If you don't know how to convert a decimal value into binary value, you can use calculator or Google conversion also. Like if you just simply do the binary value of 10 here, the binary value of 10, it will give you, see, right? Similarly, the binary value of 4, right? So you can ask Google, what is the binary value of 4? It says 0100. Okay. Now what we are doing is we are doing bitwise AND operator here. Okay. So what did we learn? AND will give you output 1 only if both the input is 1. Okay. So 0 and 0. 0 and 0 is what? 0. 0 and 0 is what? 0, right? 1 and 0 is what? 0. 0 and 0 is what? 0, right? And finally what? 1 and 0 is what? 0. So you'll see that finally a and b is 0, because when we did the bitwise AND operator, my output was 0. Similarly, now since now we have done bitwise AND operator, now let's try to do bitwise and OR operator. So what will happen in bitwise OR operator? Let's try to make this alignment perfect. Okay, 0 or 0 is 0. 1 or 0, it will be 1. The condition for OR to be true is what? Any of your input should be true. So this is true. True or false is true. Okay. Again, 0 or 1 is what? 1. 1 or 0 is 1. Right. So this is your output. And if you convert this into decimal format, the output will become 14. Right. So this is equivalent to 14 in decimal format. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Today I are picking the stuff really fast. I don't know whether you're actually picking up the stuff fast, or I think the lecture is boring. You just wanted to wrap up the session and
No, it is not boring at all. Everything you're already covering. Yeah.
okay, nice, good to know that. So we covered this AND operator, we covered this OR operator. Now let's see how does this NOT operator works, right? So this tilde sign, you are seeing that This is called tilde sign. Maybe your pronunciation might be bit different than mine. This is called tilde sign, and this is representation of bitwise not operator. Okay. So how does bitwise not operator work is, let's say that I am giving an input to my variable x, and that input is what? This is equivalent to 12, sorry 10. And how this is getting equivalent to 10? For that you need to check binary to integer conversion. Okay. So this is equivalent to 10. And if I have to do not operator, first of what I'll do, first of all, I'll add 1 to it. Right? I'm adding 1 to it. And then I'm putting a minus sign in front of it. So this becomes minus 11. It is fine if you don't understand this not operator in a very concrete way, because this is something which you're not going to use very often. It's very, at least I haven't come across a situations where I have to use bitwise not operator. Okay. It's more that you use bitwise and operator and bitwise or operator. Bitwise not operator is something which we don't use often, unless you are a digital electronics person, because those are the people who use these kind of operations in their work. Similarly, this is called XOR operation. This caret sign you are seeing, right? So what does this XOR operator do is, like, it will return 1 if one of the bit is 1 and other is 0, else false. Okay. So same thing if I want to do here 10 and 14. If I do a bitwise XOR operation, the output will be what? 14. How this is getting 14? Let's check this one. Let's check. But what the rules is it returns 1 if one of the bit is 1 and other is 0, right? So let's do a XOR operation here. So 0 XOR 0 is what? 0. 1 XOR 1 XOR 0 is what? 1. Because what the rule says that if any of my input is 1, then my output will be 1. Here also 1, and here also 1, because my input is here 1. So this is equivalent to 14. Right? This is the binary conversion of 14. If you don't trust me, here the binary value of 14, you'll see that 1110, and this is what we have got, 1110. Okay. So this is the output of XOR operation, XOR. Okay. Then we are having two more operator. One is called right shift operator, the other is called left shift operator. We're not going to cover in detail these two things, right? Basically what it does is, like, it will shift your binary value by 1 or whatever number you'll apply here. Okay. So if I have to apply a right shift operator by 1, what I'll do is, like, all the number will get shifted right by 1 place. Okay. All right. So tomorrow we're going to continue from this place. We have two more operators to cover. One is called assignment operator and the other is called special operator. And we also will see membership operator. So 3 more operators to cover. But for today, we'll take a pause here. If you have any question, I'm going to spin another call just after this. You can ask your question there. All right.
Sure.